If paid ads have ever felt overwhelming or like throwing darts in the dark, this episode will give you clarity and confidence, or simply even an introduction. If paying for ads is something you have never considered before for your practice, or something that didn't really convert for you, there's a few things could look into. So, with that said, welcome to the TCM Teach podcast, the business podcast designed exclusively for acupuncturists and Chinese medicine herbalists who want to grow thriving, sustainable practices without throwing money at marketing that obviously doesn't work. I'm Matthew Sabi Smith, a licensed acupuncturist, herbalist, professor, and entrepreneur. Today we're talking about paid advertising, how to use it strategically to attract patients without wasting time, money, or energy on campaigns that don't deliver results. Because that would be obviously a failure for us if we're putting money into it. So we're going to cover which platforms might make sense or what might fit for you, how to structure ads and target the right audience, and measure ROI, return on investment. So we're going to get started right after my disclaimer. Please remember, I am simply a practitioner here to support you on your journey. The information shared in this podcast is intended for educational and learning purposes only. So for guidance specific to your business, please consult with the appropriate licensed professional. Thank you. Okay, let's get started. Why paid ads can work for acupuncturists. Paid ads, or really any business, can work. But paid ads put your clinic in front of actively searching patients. They are scalable, they are measurable, and unlike some organic marketing efforts, we can actually have data to extract from whatever campaign we have. The goal is not viral success like many people make it sound, or at least all of social media is going to say that, because obviously they want people to try to make viral content. It's about being consistent and having targeted visibility. You have to remember that ads are simply a tool for accelerating patient acquisition. So this is not going to be a replacement for authentic patient relationships or some of the other ways we have discussed marketing for your practice, but it is a way to add fuel to the fire to grow your practice further. So what I want to talk about is you want to make sure that you choose the right platform. Examples I have for you today are things like Google Ads or Facebook and Instagram ads. There's actually a lot of different ads you can do, but specifically for paid ads online, we're going to talk about that today because they're so common and a lot of people have questions about them. So with Google Ads, it's a way to capture patients searching for care locally. There's ways to do paid per click instead of paid per view or something. Facebook and Instagram ads, they could be great for awareness and local targeting. I do have some things to add in about Instagram too. The algorithm may be better now, but I know in the past that when you were using Instagram, it wasn't always very targeted and it was very easy to scroll past. Or if you did Instagram stories, people could just click past on the story. And it wasn't always as targeted as Facebook. Now with Meta having Facebook and Instagram meshed together, that can be a lot different because you can be a lot more specific and get down to the nitty-gritty of exactly who you are marketing to because of all the data they have gathered on all of you. Whether you like that or not, might as well use it to your advantage if you can. So you want to avoid platforms that don't fit your audience or style. There are ways to look up metrics. So if you find that you work with more men or more women, or you work with special populations of certain types like sports med, or you have a very LGBTQ friendly clinic. These are actually data points that you can put in to help track the right patients to you. And there's a clinic for everybody. I certainly believe that. And I'm sure you understand that as well. Whatever it is you might be looking for, Someone's got to be out there doing it that can help you. But the key here I want to let you know is you want to focus on one or two platforms. I would even say one to start. And you want to do them well rather than spreading yourself too thin. This is the same thing with just posting social media content. If you don't have a marketing team behind you, or you don't have your workflow dialed in, it can be extremely draining, and then you're going to burn out and you're not going to do any of it. So you have to set realistic expectations for what's possible. Also, something that's going to fit in your budget. If you only have a couple $100s to throw per month at ads, then you want to be very specific about where you put those ads. You don't want to spread yourself too thin, because then ultimately it's going to go nowhere. So that is where we go into targeting your audience. You want to define your ideal patient, and this can get very specific, almost scary specific. Again, because these companies, one way or another, do have all the data about who you are or who your potential patients might be. And so you can actually type in location, demographics, health concerns, but it actually gets a lot more specific than that. That's very basic. You can talk about what their income is. You can talk about their age. You can search for where they like to shop. You can search for where they hang out. You name it, the data point is probably there and tracked, depending on their privacy settings. So instead of just being the one tracked, you can use that to your advantage and pay towards ads that are heavily targeted towards your ideal patient avatar. Who is the ideal person you want to work with, or the ideal person that fits in your clinic? So using targeting tools like Google location targeting or Facebook interest filters, that's where it goes very specific. And if you do that right, it can be very beneficial. And there's full courses just how to make, for example, Facebook ads that convert. So we're getting the intro here, but we can get very specific about that. But I want to at least mention it and talk about it. The platforms have gotten a lot more self-explanatory and a little easier to understand, especially in the world of AI now. It's easier to learn some of these things on your own too, if you're willing to get your hands a little dirty to learn that information. But you want to avoid broad targeting, because it is going to waste money. It is going to reduce your conversion rates. Your return on investment is going to be minimal to none. For example, if you run a clinic in California and you're located in San Diego, but you're advertising to people in LA and San Francisco, we know that's not going to be helpful. You want to advertise to people in Southern California where you're located. So if you're located in San Diego, you want to run your ads in San Diego. But then maybe you get more specific. What area of San Diego are you in? Or if you run a clinic that is out in the country and you're one of the only acupuncturists around in the area, that is where the filters come in, because maybe your demographic is not even that familiar with acupuncture or that it can help them. So your angle, your advertising angle, is going to be different, because instead of a place like California where everyone knows about acupuncture and often has it on their benefits, a place out in the country, people may not even know that acupuncture can help them with their back pain. So you have to target your ads differently to show up properly. Who do you work with? Do you work with blue collar workers? Do you work with a lot of mechanics, servers? Do you work with a lot of people who are on contracts temporarily, working on oil rigs or something? Whatever demographic it is, there's a data point to show exactly who you're trying to talk to. You just have to think about how you structure your ad as well. And we could talk about that a lot further in the future too. The key takeaway I want to give you though is ads only work when they reach the right people. If they don't reach the right people, then that's not going to go anywhere. And often people don't click the first time. They actually have to see the ad multiple times to get curious. So when you create an ad, how do you create an ad that's actually going to convert into something, into having a patient? You want to be clear, patient focused in your message, and you have to address what is the problem you solve. You want to have simple visuals and minimal text, strong call to action, book a free consult, or learn more about acupuncture for whatever the condition is you labeled. And you can test multiple versions of that. So that's called A/B testing. You have A as a test and B as a test, and you can see the data points of which one is performing better, which one is converting more, which one is getting more clicks. Because then you can see what resonates, and then next time you do another ad campaign, you can take the one that performed the best and then make another A/B test. So you can keep testing to see what's going to work best. So if we were to go through this as an example, if we want a clear patient-focused message, that would be something like acupuncturist that focuses on orthopedics in this neighborhood. I fix back pain. I work with women's health. Here are some examples. Things like that. You want simple visuals, minimal text. If people have to read a paragraph, they're going to move on. People are lazy. We want the most convenient thing. And if we're on social media, that's meant to catch our eye and attention anyway. We're not going to spend time reading a bunch of stuff. So keep that in mind. You do have to have a strong call to action. It's like, I have this amazing ad, but then if you think of a commercial, right? And it says, I don't know why Allstate is coming to mind, because I guess their marketing is very consistent. You call Allstate for your home and auto insurance or whatever. And they talk about call this number, or they have a good slogan, or they have a good jingle. You begin to associate those advertisements with what they do subconsciously. I'm not saying you're going to go to the extent of marketing like Allstate in your town, but my point is you generally know what they are about because they always have a strong call to action and they tell you what they do. They keep it entertaining. They do create something that grabs your attention, whether it's funny, cunning, and then here's the pain point and here's the solution that they have for that. Call this number or contact us here. So if you fix back pain, call Acupuncturist or your office name to book your free consult today. Boom. It's simple, it's straightforward, to the point, because the idea is if you understand their pain point, are you able to get off the couch without pain? No? I can help you do that. Do you have really bad back pain that's debilitating your life to the point you can't get through work? Okay, well, I can help you with that. That's talking about back pain. Book a free consult with me. I'm your guy. You don't have to be overly confident, but you do have to show some sort of confidence to the point where people are going to believe you and understand you. And it's a lot of trial and error. You just have to take your data points, see what's working, and keep trying. But it also doesn't have to take a lot of money either. Things like pay per click or $5 a day for a business really should not be that much. $5 a day really isn't that much for a business, hopefully. You just want to keep it simple, clear, and aligned with what your patients need. I remember when I moved to a new town, or all the towns I've lived in really, if I were on Facebook, which I haven't been as much lately, but back in the day, and by the way, people still use Facebook heavily. Keep that in mind. Probably a lot of your target demographic uses Facebook and Instagram quite a lot. And they have a lot of data to use. Or Google can place you in a lot of different places. Anyway, point being is I see paid ads from practitioners all the time, whether it's chiropractors, physical therapists, or health centers. And I like analyzing their marketing and thinking, oh, is this good? Oh, they're going with the family business angle, or they're going with the cutting edge technology angle, or they're going with the affordable angle. These are all different demographics. Oh, people who have families will want to support the family. People who want the best, who are willing to pay more, are probably going to go the heavy technology, or maybe they're more analytical. The people that want something affordable or an easy entry point are going to want the affordable option. So there's nuances to all the different ways that you create your paid ad, your marketing. What are you all about as a practitioner? What is your clinic, your business all about? So this is when you go back to your mission and vision statement, because all of your advertising and marketing should go along with that mission and vision if it's strong enough. And if not, go back and revise it. Those are the angles that you should be pulling in to what you're all about. That should show up in your marketing. So you want to start small and you want to be gradual. You don't want to blow a bunch of money up front if you don't have enough data points to understand what works and what doesn't. So you don't have to overspend. You don't have to worry about that. You can start small. You just want to track the metrics. How many clicks, how many leads, how many conversions, or what was the cost per acquisition? So when I say cost per acquisition, how much money did you put in that month to paid ads? And how many patients did you get in your clinic paying as a result of those ads? That's how you're going to know your cost per acquisition. So if you put in something small, $150 for the month. Was that like, yeah, $150 for the month. And you got 2 patients come into your clinic that month from the paid ad, then that's $75 per patient. But that's not bad if they're paying, say, $150 a treatment, or $100 a treatment, or $75 a treatment even, because if they keep coming back, the ads pay for themselves, and the ads should pay for themselves. Marketing companies should pay for themselves. That's the whole point. They're taking your money, putting it to the best use possible. They get a small cut if it's a marketing company, and you end up having a thriving business. You want to make sure that you do track the metrics: clicks, leads, conversions, and then ultimately, what was the cost per acquisition? You want to adjust your marketing, messaging, targeting, and creative frameworks based on results. The A/B testing, what's working, what's not. And it's really important to not let your ego think what's best. Look at the data. Whether you liked an ad or not, it really matters what the patient or the prospective patients were driven to the most. So keep that in mind, because those are the ways you make adjustments. Paid ads are data driven. It should not be guesswork. They should be paying for themselves. And if they're not, then that's where we need to discuss further of how do we change that. So what would be the TCM lens on paid ads? So I'm going to talk about the E, intention here, your intellect. You're guiding your energy. Ads should reflect service, integrity, and clarity. You want to avoid chasing trends. I've said that many times, even with social media in general. Avoid chasing trends or ego-driven metrics. You want to see what works and what doesn't based on the numbers, based on the data. You want to think of ads as a way to connect with patients who need your care. They are out there. There are plenty of patients to go around per practitioner in the area. Trust me. I know competition may be a thing in your head, but if you have really good marketing and you're doing a good job, competition shouldn't be an issue for you. You want to think of ads as a way to connect with patients who need your care. I can't stress that enough. So align your paid marketing with your clinic values and your patient focus. Remember, go back to your mission and vision. If that isn't strong enough or it's changed, please change it and make sure you stick to it. What are you all about as a practitioner, as a business? and make sure that shows up in all of your marketing. Paid ads don't have to be scary. They don't have to be complicated, and they don't have to be expensive. With clear targeting, simple messaging, and careful tracking, so paying attention to that data, you can ultimately attract patients efficiently and sustainably. And like I said, there's full courses that are out there that are just on how to structure paid ads if you really don't know. But at this point, there's a lot of information out there that's pretty straightforward to find if you're curious. So if you want some step-by-step guidance for creating paid ads that convert without wasting money, obviously I'm going to mention check out the Practitioner Hub on the TCM Teach Patreon. That's where I'll have the companion resources like I do with every single episode, as well as high definition, non-commercial versions of the podcast plus video. So, and you can download it as well. So we're going to go in that companion resource for this episode. We're going to have ways to targeting strategies, ad examples, and ROI tracking frameworks. So how do you understand the return on investment? So with that said, in our next episode, we're going to dive into patient education that keeps them coming back. So until then, thanks for listening to the TCM Teach podcast, and we'll see you next time.